We'll get started with dashboard 4 by building the scatterplot. In the first step, we'll just focus on creating our grid. We want the total number of female Social Security cards running across the x-axis and the total number of male Social Security cards running up the y-axis. Then, in step 2, we'll plot one mark for each name based on these x and y coordinates. Here's the thing though, we don't have anything to drag and drop to make our axes. We have the total number of occurrences for each name, and we can break them out by sex, but we don't have a way to show just the female occurrences on one axis and the male occurrences on the other. As soon as we try to limit the occurrences by one sex, we lose the other from the visualization completely. What we really need is one occurrences pill on the columns shelf that's filtered just to female records, and another occurrences pill on the rows shelf that's filtered just to male records. And since we don't have these variables in the original dataset, we'll make them. Now, we learned in dashboard 3 how to make a new variable called a calculated field. We'll start off the same way, right-clicking in the data pane and selecting Create Calculated Field. I like to add a little prefix CALC when I name my calculated fields, just to remember that I made them, and then we'll call this variable female occurrences. Great. Now for the calculation. One of the best pieces of advice I ever received about tackling any sort of logic problem was write it out in plain English first. So let's do that. We want Tableau to look at each record, and if the sex variable equals F for female, we want Tableau to give us the occurrences from that record. So this is conditional logic, right? Go check something, and if it matches my criteria, then do this. It's like saying, go to the store and see if they have ice cream, and if they do, then buy it. If this, then that. And that's exactly what we'll tell Tableau to do. We'll say, if the sex variable equals F, then give us the occurrences. The syntax notes remind us that we need to include end when we've finished up our if-then statement, and note we do need those quotes around F to let Tableau know we're looking at a string, not a number. Okay, let's save our calculation and test it out. Here's our new variable, and let's see if Tableau identified the female occurrences like we wanted it to. We'll build a quick visualization to check. First, let's check that when we drag occurrences to text and filter it by female records, our sum here matches the sum of our new female occurrences variable. Okay, that's a good start. And now we'll double check that it's working for each name. We'll pull name to rows, sex to columns, and pull our regular occurrences to text. Okay, make your hypothesis. When we pull our new variable onto text as well, our new variable and the occurrences in the female column should match. Okay, perfect. There's just one thing. Watch what happens when we remove the occurrences in the sex variable. Many names are left blank. Now, if this is important, think back to how a scatterplot works. Each name's mark will be plotted where the x and y coordinates meet. That is, Tableau will count over the number of female Social Security cards and up the number of male Social Security cards, and if there are no female Social Security cards at all, Tableau needs to know that there are 0 cards, not that there are blank cards or null cards. We need to tell Tableau to fill in these nulls with zeros. So let's edit our calculation. We still want Tableau to check the sex variable and, if it equals F, to return the occurrences. But we need to tell it what to do if the sex variable doesn't equal F. Think back to the ice cream analogy. We haven't told Tableau what to do if the store has no ice cream. All we need to add is else 0, saying otherwise, just give us 0. We'll pull our calculation box over to the side so we can see our table and click apply. Great, now every name has an x coordinate. And now that we know the female occurrences variable is working, we need to rinse and repeat that logic for the male occurrences. And since we want exactly the same thing pretty much, we can just click the drop-down menu on the pill and select duplicate. Then we'll just edit our new variable's title to calc male occurrences, swap out the F for an M, and there you go. If the sex variable equals M, then return the occurrences, and otherwise just give us 0. Now when we pull these two variables onto columns and rows, we've got a grid all set up for step 2 and our scatter plot.